GE2025. Right? Okay.
晚上好。
That's right. Greetings, Marsiling UT residents. Big hello to everybody. Hi, guys. Hi, everybody. Wave at us if you see us. I know it can be a little bit bright where we are, but in the meantime, it's wonderful. 晚上好。
马斯林游池的居民们，你们好。
That's right. Also want to say a big hello across over to everybody. It is going to be quite a lovely rally and event today. Today, as it happened yesterday as well, it's been very outstanding as well. We had a lot of crowd roaring and cheering, and we want to say a big hello to you. I think tonight is going to be even more, right?
Every day the rally is nice.
That's right. And once again, we are here not just to survive. We are here to thrive. Not just survive. That's right. And of course, residents, people, dear Singaporeans, give yourself a big round of applause, everybody. Let's give each other a big hand right here. We have not started just yet, but when we do, you will hear everybody and yourself, even us, we will roar for you. So I'd like to say hello to the camera and crew and everybody here. And I hope you guys had dinner. Dah makan tak? Makan already, yeah? That's right. Cepat meal, right? So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we will begin in a moment or two shortly. The crowd has not come in yet, totally, but they will be here with us, I'm sure, very soon.
Yes.
And,
but before the rally starts, I encourage all of you to go to our merchandise booth. Get some of our merchandise. Apparently, our Tabole Tahan t-shirt is sold out, but there are bears that are still available. Please help us. Buy a merchandise for us, as this election campaigning is not cheap. Please help us to go through this campaign.
Yeah. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, everybody just wanted to let you know, it's merchandise and a whole lot more as well. If you wanted to find out a bit more, there are books as well that a lot of people have bought as well about, of course, Dr. Chi. And of course,
Dr. Chi books. And Dr. Chi, for those who bought Dr. Chi books, at the end of the rally, he will be doing his autographs, I think, in front.
In front, yeah.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, over there. He'll be doing the autograph after the rally at night, after 10 p.m. over there. Our volunteers will show you the way. And also, we need polling agents, especially for the residents of the constituency that we are standing for, which is Marsiling UT, Sembawang, Sembawang West, Bukit Panjang. Please sign up for polling agents. For more information, go to our merchandise booth. There will be instruction from them.
Yes, we need lots and lots of polling agents as well to be a part of us, as you will be placed in many areas where, of course, you'll be a part to facilitate that as well. Also as well, back to the merchandise, it is very important, ladies and gentlemen, because it keeps us going as well. And, you know, Dr. Chi has come a long way for 30 years being together with us through all the times he's been striving, surviving, thriving, and back even stronger. The three books, ladies and gentlemen, that he holds dear are Never on Bended Knees, Teacher, Thinker, Rebel, Why? And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we ask this of you to help, if you want, to take a look at his life right here. Democratically speaking, as a leader, once again, ladies and gentlemen, right here, of the SDP. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you buy those merchandises as well, it's not just about buying the merchandise, it is about buying the story that has SDP come to what it is today, stronger than ever before. So we thank you. Please give yourself a big warm round of applause for being here, everybody. Give yourself a big hand. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And also, join us to give a round of applause to our volunteers. Everyone who put up so much of their personal time to volunteer because they want to see our 11 candidates in Parliament. Please help to give a round of applause to our volunteers as well. They are all over us, all around us. And also join me to thank our media from Straits Times, Channel News Asia, Asia One, online media. They've been following us all through the rallies, doing live streaming for everyone, whether they are at home or they are overseas. And also to our men in blue for keeping us safe and for keeping everything in order. Please also join us to give them a round of applause. We appreciate what all of you are doing for us. Thank you very much.
And as you say, Jaslyn, the votes are kept secret.
Secret.
So even the boss will not know.
Yes. So after listening to us for like 4 days, don't be afraid to vote for us because your vote is secret.
Your vote is secret. Wave those flags, like. Good to see everybody. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? 吃饱了没有 Sister, eat already, ah? 饱了. Okay, very good. They actually walk all the way from where it is, where Woodlands Stadium is, all the way from the back. It's roughly about a good 15-20 minute walk.
Yes.
And our lovely dear auntie down here, Auntie Light, she walked, she waved the flag, she waves the flag. That is the spirit to thrive, not just survive. Hello guys, somebody blow your horn. Wow, that one high pitch horn, huh? Okay, so once again, everybody, you know, you can get seated later on for a while if you like, don't worry. Yes, that's the horn. Okay, get your water, everybody. Stay hydrated, okay? And if the crowd becomes too overbearing, it's okay. Just step away a little bit to where there are less people. Safety is so important for us as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Jaslyn.
Yes. Remember 5月3号，请投我们民主党一票，把我们的11位候选人送进国会。投票是秘密的，不用害怕，把你们的票给我们新加坡民主党，好不好？
好不好？
Your voting is secret. Come 3rd of May. Please vote for SDP. Please send our 11 candidates to Parliament. Let them go to Parliament and speak up for you all.
That's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin later shortly, we'll give you the estimate time that it should start. Roughly at about, of course, it kicks off at 7:45. We will be back on stage again roughly in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Everybody, please keep hydrated. Tonight is going to be a journey right here with SDP. Everybody wave your flags. Good to see everybody. Right. We come here for a reason. For our voices to be heard. SDP. 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 Wow, thank you so much. With the spirit, even just 6-7 people here, just starting already. Wow, they are here. Okay, everybody, like, we go and get our hydrated, drink water. 喝酒, 喝 whatever you want, 喝酒, 喝冰水, or whatever. Enjoy yourself, and we will see you back in a while.
Yesterday we came. Yesterday we came raining. Actually, you give us raincoat.
My mother
Raincoat,
Yeah.
Must wear poncho, no?
Yeah, poncho.
Poncho,
We bring our own chair here.
Bring one chair here. It's very vibrant. Huh? What is skin all glowing? The complexion better than my complexion. Beauty, ah? Nice to meet you guys. All the best. Enjoy. Thank you for the horn, boss. Your horn
Do I
counts,
stand?
you know.
Do I stand here like
One
that?
time horn now, one people vote.
Make sure the mic is parallel.
10. I don't want to 10 people vote. Alamak, tak boleh.
Boleh lah, Woodlands and NSP. We also for NSP. Never get CAP. Yeah lah. Better.
Wow.
Auntie, 穿啦。
Because I cannot lah, like that very hot. Very hot, easily setting.
我们在上台哦。
You wear this and go home. Can lah.
看，因为它没有party logo。
All the way.
Wait, that one got party logo. No party logo. No, they have behind. Oh, have behind. At the back. At the back.
Very nice. Cannot.
But they see front, they don't see back.
This is PAP, you know the side is better. Caught you also don't know what happened. They catch you also don't know what happened.
Last time I wear like that, go to voting center.
The voting center.
Then they tell me, say, cannot you got this. So I said, are you going to take it off?
If you go to Marine Parade, you can get a lot of
So in
attention.
the end,
Yeah.
Marine
Parade.
Yesterday we went to take the kite ah.
7:30 cannot go before.
7:30 cannot go.
7:30 go up already. Start already.
Yeah, it's supposed to start lah. 7:30 cannot. Our guest speaker lah. Yeah, so
you can start because I wanted to tell people because they show one actually asking about
Oh, that was very fast. Hold on, then come back up. Driving. Looks like driving.
the rally we were sleeping.
15 minutes, you come back in 5 minutes.
But
All right.
10 kg.
Dear residents, dear Singaporeans, we are about to start. Jaslyn has got something to say about the lovely shirt that she has. Jaslyn.
Yeah, actually, on my second day of rally, I won the Tabole Tahan T-shirts, right? I was saying that was the first original Tabole Tahan T-shirts.
First, Huh?
That was the original Tabole Tahan
That means
T-shirt.
serial number 0001. Wow.
It was hand-painted
Okay.
by one of our activists. And I have kept it because the rest of the T-shirt were confiscated So in the whole of Singapore, there are only 2. One of it is with me. And hence, I am going to put up the T-shirt for bidding. So I actually forgotten about it because we were so busy with the rallies, with the campaigning. Asia One reporter reminded me because yesterday she came up to me and she actually interviewed me about this. I was like, oh yeah,
Right.
I've forgotten about it. So I went back and I checked on my messenger. And true enough, there were a few bidding. The highest bidder, who wants to remain anonymous,
Yes.
he sent me this message. He said that he was very touched that I stood in the rain with all the supporters. And he said that, wait, let me find
And she
his
did
message.
she did perform in the rain. No joke, no joke. I hope that I don't have to perform in the rain, but if we need to, we will. We
stand.
will thrive, not just survive, right? Correct now. Can you give her a big hand, everybody? In the rain. Rain or shine. Tonight we will do rain dance.
Yes. So this anonymous supporter says, I wish to keep SDP fire burning and to send SDP into Parliament again.
Yes.
This T-shirt will be a souvenir that marks the milestone of SDP success. And he bidded, he's one of the highest so far, he bidded $500 for that T-shirt.
Wow.
Yes.
You are. Well done. Well
Thank you for your
done.
support. But I told him, you might not be the highest.
So that
Who
means the bid
knows?
is still going on.
Yes, I will close the bid tonight. And if there's any highest bidder, yeah, we do everything for this election.
Correct.
All proceeds will go into the fundraising of SDP for this election. So please keep the bidding coming. And thank you very much to that supporter. Thank you from the bottom of our heart. Thank you so much for that warm message.
Marsiling UT, are you here? Marsiling UT at the back, sitting first. Are you here?
Feel free
you
to
wave
come
at
and
us?
join us.
All right, and now, boss, it's time for you. If you would like, you can signal that horn. Okay, you can signal that horn. We are having our first speaker. We kick off. Other people, you might have to wait till 8 o'clock. Sometimes 8:10 or maybe past that, right? Depending on weather conditions. Right now, everybody, if you like, you can come forward closer to the stage as well. Okay? Once you're ready, feel free to come forward closer to the stage. Show SDP that we are one and we are going to have things change right here. So everybody, over to you, Jaslyn, on your next introduction. Come closer, everybody. If you like, you can walk closer right here as well. Take your time as we bring up our next speaker.
Yes. 居民们，如果你们想过来的话，请你们下来 join 我们，跟我们在一起这里互动一下。
Yes, and on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, right here, yes, make our speaker feel right at home. We are one family. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, right here with SDP, we are here to
Not
let our
just to
voices be
survive.
heard. That's right. Also as well, you make a difference. You make a difference to all of us, where your voices are heard, whether the topics are, and to your heart, cost of living, education, and everything that you want for. Ladies and gentlemen, we rally you. This is a rally. Come and
Thank
join
you.
us now. As we are the ones, each and every one of you, ladies and gentlemen, will be the ones to decide for SDP to be in Parliament. And once SDP is in Parliament, things are going to change. Are we ready? SDP! 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 Come, everybody, come!
Thank you for joining us. Thank you. And now, shall we introduce our first speaker? Our first speaker is a young boy that I know him when he was 15.
He looks like a young man already.
Yes, young man. At that time, he took to the stage as our Young Democrats. At 15 years old, very brave boy, speaks very eloquently. And I remember we were very new to the party back then, but I was so impressed by this young boy. He was not afraid to speak up. He gave a very good rally speech. I actually felt that I am so much way behind him, even though I'm much older. He impressed me at a young age when he was 15. And now, I am so proud to see that he has mature, grown up into a nice young man, still full of passion. So I would like to give the stage to Kenneth Lind.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause to Kenneth Lim, everybody. Come forward, everybody. Let our voices be heard.
Good evening, everyone. Or as in New Zealand, we say kia ora koutou. My name is Kenneth, and I have to say, I'm really proud of my friend, Mr. Arifin Shah, whom I studied with in New Zealand. We went through many good times, bad times, and times, let's just say, I won't talk about on this stage tonight. I studied industrial design, or product design, if you will. Now, many people think that design is just about aesthetics, about making things look pretty, right? But actually, design is not just how it looks, but how well it works. It's about how things work on a very fundamental level. And design is everywhere. Everywhere you look. In products, in services, in spaces, and yes, even in policy. Design ultimately is about empathizing with people's lived experience, the experiences of people like you and me. And let me tell you, as a designer, there are many ways in which our system in Singapore does not work. Let me give you an example. So there's this program I help out with in my church called Safe, Sound and Sleeping Place, or S3P for short. It's a government program that houses homeless people. Non-governmental organizations like my church, we open up, we volunteer, we open up our premises to house these homeless people, and we give them a place to stay. And I think it's great because there's a huge need for this. But these people, these homeless people, don't get the benefit of CDC vouchers because they are only given to individual households. They are homeless people, meaning they do not have a house. So the only household the stayers have is the church, which means they have to share the $300 CDC vouchers amongst the 17 or so of them. So about $17 in vouchers for each person, meant to tide them through the current cost of living crisis. Now, we've tried to talk to various government ministries, boards, and they've just kept shifting the responsibility to the next one. And in the end, nothing gets done. Is this policy designed this way to encourage them to quickly find a house so that they will no longer be a burden? I don't know. Why are we punishing these people who arguably need assistance the most in this crisis? Why are we obsessed with poor people taking advantage of the system? Why is it when in this global society, when poor people game the system, it's criminal? But when rich people do it by like evading taxes, it's called being smart. Doesn't make sense to me. Okay, let me give you another example. Last year, when my mom was sick, I was in the hospital almost every single day. And I saw nurses and doctors and healthcare staff, many of them good, hardworking, locals and foreigners, completely overworked and understaffed. I also have many nurses and doctors as friends, and they tell me the same thing. A good chunk of nurses and doctors in this country are overworked, working as much as 30+ hours in a single shift. And we expect them to make good judgments and give an accurate diagnosis after that. How does that impact our health as a people? Not to mention the physical and mental health of the healthcare workers, especially given the news of the nurse who committed suicide. One more example. We see foreign workers every day on the roads, riding at the back of lorries without seat belts. And we've all seen the fatal accidents that happen as a result. We've heard the government refusing to implement or subsidize proper seating because it's not cost effective. Saving lives is not cost effective. So in my view, our system, if you look at it, doesn't really work very well at all. Actually, let me correct myself. Our system does work very well for the ultra wealthy, for the billionaires, for the million-dollar ministers, but not for the rest of us. Singapore has amongst the world's highest concentration of billionaires per capita. And lest you think these are isolated examples, allow me to remind you of what Arifin has shared with you on the first night, of what the PAP in 1955 stood for. Universal minimum wage and strong independent unions. Look at where we are now. Singapore is one of the very few holdouts in the developed world refusing to implement a truly universal minimum wage. The responsibility has shifted to us to upskill ourselves if we can't find a job. And where on earth are our independent unions? How are workers going to be sufficiently protected when the NTUC is in bed with the government and corporations? There's been a lot of talk of abandoning lately, but let me get this straight. If anyone has abandoned anything, it's the People's Action Party. The PAP has abandoned the workers, it has abandoned the working class, and it has abandoned the people. They now believe in what's called trickle-down economics. So let me explain what that is. Trickle-down economics. Imagine right now, we have a table, and the billionaires and corporate executives are seated at the table, while the rest of us are seated on the floor below the table. And while they are all having a tremendous feast, we are all hoping that some of the crumbs from their mouths will trickle down on the floor for us to eat. That is trickle-down economics. Senior Minister Lee Hsien Loong said, if I can get another 10 billionaires to move to Singapore and set up their base here, my Gini coefficient will get worse, but I think Singaporeans will be better off because they will bring in business, bring in opportunities, open new doors, and create new jobs. And I think that is the attitude with which we must approach this problem, end quote. Let me ask you all, after 60 years as a nation, do we really think trickle-down economics has worked? When taxes for the rich, like estate duty, have been cut, and taxes for the rich have remained comparatively low, while GST has increased for the rest of us, do we feel that trickle-down economics has worked? When ministers live in such huge mansions, such that the only way we can possibly live in such a big one is if we built it in Minecraft, do we think trickle-down economics has worked? And globally, when we see billionaires and corporate executives living out their best lives, some even in space, while the rest of us have to contend with the rising cost of living, do you think trickle-down economics has worked? And when the richest 1% of Singapore owns as much as the bottom 90%, and we see the wealth gap between the rich and the poor increasing year after year, do we feel that trickle-down economics has worked? No. If you're a first-time GE voter, like me, you're probably noticing that things aren't looking too great in the world, in our society right now, and perhaps even in our personal lives. And it's depressing. It's hard to be hopeful about our situation. The earth is burning, and we have recently shot past the 1.5 degree limit nations agreed upon. And yet we have companies who continue to pollute, caring only for profits, and governments who turn a blind eye to them. Our government, in continuing to promote oil refining, refuses to shift away from the fossil fuel industry, and we are still amongst the world's highest polluters per capita. The climate crisis is getting worse. Politicians and corporate leaders are getting greedier. Billionaires party while the rest of us are worried about our futures. And while we in the SDP want to debate about the policies that matter to working class Singaporeans, the PAP seems more interested in taking cheap shots, accusing us of abandoning a constituency when it is them who made it disappear in the first place. We are the only opposition party with thoroughly researched, comprehensive policy papers. And I'm proud to have contributed to one of them on climate change. Thank you. When we implement policy, we need to understand, we need to ask ourselves, what are people's lived experiences with them? Do the ministers actually experience what is happening on the ground? Why are they so scared of debating policy? And while we have young Singaporeans who give a damn about advocating for peace and stopping our money from going to a state which is committing genocide, we have Kelvin Cheng, a former NMP with close ties to the ruling party, making a comment saying he would send these young people on a plane to Gaza one way with his own money to teach them a lesson. If that is not a perfect example of how it is the rich and the powerful who oppress you, I don't know what is. Recently, the PAP has introduced fear to try to persuade you. They say that the current global situation is unpredictable and dangerous, and to trust them that you need to stick to a safe choice. Choose them as they were the ones who got you here. But ladies and gentlemen, have we forgotten how we got to this sad state of affairs in this first place? Greed, exploitation, oppression of the weak and poor, all in the name of economic progress and profits. Trickle-down economics. If it's all feeling a bit overwhelming and hopeless, I don't blame you, I feel the same way. But, one of my favorite TV shows of all time, Ted Lasso, talks about how we shouldn't be messing around with crap like fear or shame. It talks about the belief that all of us matter, regardless of what we do or don't achieve, regardless of how much value we are adding to the economy. The belief that everyone is valued and deserves to be loved, and the belief of hope that things can get better, that I can get better, that we will get better. To believe in yourself and in one another, man, that's fundamental to being alive. So when you lack hope, as I often do, I want you to look around tonight. Look around to the back at the tireless volunteers, many in the shadows, like Mr. Francis Yong, who is 75 years old and still carrying our heavy merchandise and tables day in and day out to support the cause of working people. Many of the volunteers are also ex-detainees from 1987, arrested for helping workers and the oppressed. And now, they are tirelessly flyering and conducting house visits, even at this very minute. Look around at the foreign workers who helped build our nation, some of whom have recently, without hesitation, dived in to help people out of a building in fire. And look at our healthcare workers who put their lives on the line to keep us safe through the pandemic, and every single day since then. Look at tireless leaders like Dr. Paul and Dr. Chi, who have persevered throughout the decades, no matter how many times they get knocked down. Look at our friends and our families who have worked hard to put food on the table and cared for us. Look around at how lucky we are to be alive right now and be inspired. The horrors persist, but so do all of us. And after that, we need to get to work. We need every single one of us to step up, to continue to speak up, and continue putting in the hard work needed to build a democratic society that is based on justice and equality. One regardless of race, language, or religion. And yes, that also means not shying away from the kind of hard conversations like the one we had yesterday. It is a vision of a more compassionate society where everyone is valued and where all of us, not just the billionaires, not just the million-dollar ministers, can truly thrive and not just survive. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big cheer to Kenneth, everybody!
See? I told you he's good, right? So, we need volunteers. Please sign up for our polling agent to ensure that on polling day, everything will be in a fair and just way that is being carried out. So please sign up. Find out more information from our merchandise booth. We need as many hands as we can. Please sign up for our polling agent.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, have no fear. As what they said, everybody, can we say it together? 1, 2, 3. Have no fear! Have no fear! Have no fear! As what Arifin has said, no fear. Okay, we have already gone through it. We've already seen the tough times. We've already gone through all that is all about cost of living, all that is all about education, all that is all about workfare. Ladies and gentlemen, are we ready? The word is called Achumale. Do you remember that? Everybody, one race, one people. All races come together as one. Malay, Indians, Chinese, others, Filipinos, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, are we one family SDP? Are we one family SDP?
Now, shall we introduce our next speaker? She is the candidate for Sembawang GRC. Mother of 3 proud adult children by now. And also a long-time supporter, volunteers for SDP. Miss Suraya.
Somebody blow the horn, please.
Suraya, good to see you.
Higher. Sorry, lower. This side? This side? Perfect. All right. Yep, thanks. Good evening, fellow Singaporeans. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for daring to believe that things can change, even when we've been led to believe just trust the system. Because today, Singapore faces a critical question. Are we building a democracy or a mega corporation? Let's start where it hurts. Accountability or the lack of it. Look no further than the Income Alliance debacle. NTUC Income, a name built by workers, trusted by generation, made a deal to foreign giant without consulting the people who built it, insured it, dependent on it. No exhaustive public debate, no transparent and thorough explanation, no referendum for policyholders. Just a backroom deal wrapped in polite corporate words. And when Singaporeans demanded answers, they brushed us off. It's a business decision. Trust us. Move along. Trust them. After watching how own self check own self, the people of Singapore are not so easily fooled anymore. Because this Income Alliance merger exposed a simple truth. Unchecked power is not safe. Unchecked power is reckless. The PAP's idea of accountability is, don't worry, we've supervised ourselves. It's no different to students marking their own exams and rewarding themselves with F1 and Taylor Swift concert tickets. Well, guess what? With Income Alliance, they didn't just supervise themselves. They own self-checkmate own self. You know, the cost of living are rising and to continue to rise because you feel it every single day. Groceries are up 6% in a year. Electricity and water bills are climbing and continue to rise. HDB resale flats hitting 700,000 and more. COEs crossing 100,000 just for the privilege to drive. You know, we've had people telling us you need to work and find money until your bank account looks like a telephone number. But when you and I look at our ATM receipts, it's actually like a bus service number. They collect $1 million ministerial salaries without a blink. A mind-boggling salaries for redundant mayors that can feed low-income family every year. Now they talk about resilience. While they enjoy chauffeured cars, air-conditioned offices, and colonial bungalows and a Swiss standard of living. And they tell you, be resilient, eat cheaper food, adjust your lifestyle. Cannot afford eat chicken. Cannot afford chicken, eat fish. And people are saying they are out of touch. How's the future going to be like when our children have to work 2 jobs just to own a home? How's the future going to be like when they, in their old age, will need to wipe table and wash trays? But we don't have to wait for the future. Our seniors need all the help. Our platform workers need all the help. Our caregivers need all the help. The whole of Singapore is crying for help now. Now this is why SDP MPs must be in Parliament. Because right now, all you have is a PAP obsessed with 2 things. A blank check and the dream of one-party dominance forever. Let that sink in, my friends. They want a parliament where every uncomfortable question is silenced, where every rubber stamp is passed without challenge, where your frustrations are brushed off as noise, no opposing voices.
No more of that.
But here's the thing about noise. Noise becomes raw when the people rise together. This noise is deafening for those living in ivory towers. It bothers them in their sleep. They wake up trying to fix this noise every single day, but they can only delay it. They can only delay the inevitable because we are rising. The SDP stands ready with real plan. Cut GST on essentials because taxing baby milk and medicine is cruelty. Lower public housing prices by removing inflated land costs. Control COEs so owning a car doesn't require you winning the 4D lottery. expense retrenchment insurance, because in a poly-crisis world, job security must be right, not a luxury. Strengthen healthcare and mental health access, because surviving and getting medical care shouldn't bankrupt you. This, my friend, is not populism. This is responsible governance. Populism is promising you to the moon. Here we are offering you a service, plumbing, to flush out all the filth has been choking our beloved country. Here, we are building a Singapore that values people. We are not cash cows, out to be squeezed and milked. And we are not profit-making machines, because we are not mere economic digits. Let me say this clearly. Electing SDP MPs is not about toppling the PAP. It's about balancing power. So no party, no minister, no GLC, no privileged elite ever forgets who really owns this country. The people, not a dinosaur party with stale propaganda. If we don't act now, what's next? More secret deals like income allowance, more cost of living increases while they pop champagne, more unchecked rule where they change laws, rules, and your life without you at the table? This cannot be. We cannot live in this kind of indignity. My friends, this election is really about dignity. It's about saying enough of blank checks, enough of playing musical chairs with our future, enough of assuming Singaporeans are too afraid to choose, that we are daft and powerless. No. Singaporeans are better than they think that we are. We will not form government. Let's put this on record. It is safe to vote for the SDP because there are only a few of us. But going to the house is going to the lion's den. Our only weapon to protect ourselves is your voice. Your voice after decades of gaslighting, decades of blank checks. No more. This is a voice of reason, the voice of courage. And with your voice, we are not afraid. We are ready. The people are ready. You are ready. Vote for accountability. Vote for transparency and dignity to thrive, not just survive. Vote SDP for the heart of Singapore, and vote for our children's future, for the ones you love, whoever you love. Majulah Singapura. Thank you, everyone.
So on 3rd of May, join Suraya. Make the PAP cry. Vote for SDP. Vote Suraya into Parliament. Agree me?
Agree, yes. Are
Vote
we
for
afraid?
our-
Are we afraid? Are we afraid? It's time. It is our time. Whose time?
Thank you. Thank you for coming all the way from Hougang. Hougang, vote for Workers' Party. So, on the 3rd of May, join us. Vote for our 11 candidates. Send them to Parliament. Your vote is secret.
My job is to have you all chant because basically it's true. We need people there. We need people in Parliament. Can we say, send them in? Send them in. Send them in. Send them in. Send them in. I hate to sound like an advertising commercial, but ladies and gentlemen, these are the wonderful things that they have and the merchandise that we have. I hate to sideline this, but with every purchase that is made, including Dr. Chee's books, it matters because all that money gets into the funds that goes into the funds to support the campaign. So if you have this little bear in your car, everybody will know you have no fear because it's SDP. 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 Jaslyn, over to you.
Shall we now invite our next speaker, the candidate for Sembawang GRC, Mr. Alfred Tan.
Mr. Alfred, over to you. Let's give him a bigger round of applause, everybody. After you saw yesterday.
新加坡人民，晚上好。我想谈谈我们的未来。我们现在必须做什么？以面为是以碗。让我们明确一点：新加坡没有石油，没有金矿。没有农田，我们只是有一种资源，只是一种，我们的人民，我们的头脑，我们的双手，我们的精神。如果我们继续认为只要顺从，只要埋头苦干就能生存，我们就完了。世界正在变化，比以往任何时候都快。人工智能、自动化、战争、贸易壁垒、政治游戏，环境将充满不确定性，动荡不安，充满活力。我们不能再依赖旧的方法了。我们不能说没关系，跨国公司 MNC 啊，跨国公司会照顾我们的。跨国公司没有忠诚度。他们今天去越南，明天去印度，再后去非洲。更便宜的劳动力，更好的税收优质。再见啊！新加坡，你以为他们会为了我们留在这里吗？会吗？不会啊，真的不会啊。新加坡，是时候醒悟了，别再让我们的年轻人死记硬背考试答案了，别再跟孩子说，别问，只要照着就行。我们必须鼓励创造力，质疑精神和评判性思维。我们必须敢于突破界限。挑战旧习，勇于创新，因为未来的工作不仅仅是听从知识，他们关乎创造新想法、新产品和新解决方案。如果我们的学校只教学生 惊死啊，害怕犯错，那么一天倒闭的将不再是工厂，而是我们的思想。我们需要意志灵活、坚韧、向往未来的劳动力队伍。这个新世界需要的是韧性、勇气和毅力，而不是仅仅是服从。新加坡民主党深知这一点。我们相信教育必须不断发展，不仅仅是拿 A， 而要学会思考，不仅仅是照办教科书，还要精益想象、建设、颠覆。因为如果我们不这样做，如果我们继续恐惧、继续怕动，我们就会落后了。现在也是时候发展我们自己的公司了，我们自己的中小企业。60年来，新加坡一切都压在跨国公司身上。我们给了他们税收优惠、土地和廉价工动劳动力。是的，他们帮助我们经济起步，但是昨日黄花。今天呢，我们必须自力更生。我们必须把我们自己的本土领军企业，我们的中小企业发展成区域性，甚至全国性的企业。因为呢，中小企业忠诚。他们留在我们这里，他们雇佣我们的员工，他们不会其他地方得到更好的待遇后就宣布该走人。我们最优秀的商业领袖。你们所钦佩的那些，他们不仅仅是跟随，他们建设，他们奋斗，他们敢于挑战。我们需要更多这样的人。要做到这一点，我们需要一个鼓励创新，而非唯命是从的体制。正因如此，这次选举意义重大，因为改变并非开议政策，改变是以正确的领导者，敢于挑战现状的领导者，敢于发声的领导者，敢于 以民为本的领导者。新加坡民主党将为建立一个更释放创造力的教育体系而奋斗，一直面对未来，坚韧不拔，睿智精明，世界一流的劳动力队伍。一个能够发展自助企业，创造真正就业机会，真正保障安全，真正引以为豪的经济体系。谨慎行事，别再犹豫，假装一切都好，别再等待别人来拯救，是时候我们自救了。我的朋友，我的新加坡同胞们，如果我们想要一个新加坡依然强大，依然自豪，依然引领世界的未来，我们就需要勇于改变。如果我们希望孩子们拥有真正的机会，我们必须敢于挑战旧有的模式。如果你想要一个为你的工作、你的未来和你的尊严而战的一回，你必敢于投出不同的一票，更换一人投票给新加坡民主党。我们用智慧战斗，我们用心战斗，我们为你而战。谢谢你，前进吧，新加坡！
我认识他10多年，这是他第一次用华文致辞。我恳求你们，为了他的努力，为了他的怎么讲啊，勇气，给他掌声鼓励好不好？
Let's give him a big round of applause, everybody.
第一次华语致辞，因为了你们。Alfred is not, I know him for 10 over years. This is the first time I actually hear him converse in Mandarin. So please join me. He deserves that a round of applause for trying, because he wants you all to understand. Thank you very much. Sorry, And right now I'm holding a flask. I know some of you are very thirsty, and some of you have been attending our rallies every night. Right, thank you very much. So you can bring your own water, buy a flask, fill your own water, come to the rally and drink your water. Or now, go to coffee shop. 水很贵吗？对吗？自己带水。跟我们新加坡民主党买水壶， then 你就可以自己带你的水。这个水还有 LED 的嘞，买两瓶2罐20块，1罐12块，去我们的 merchandise 那边买 ，OK， 支持我们。
Also, what she's saying, ladies and gentlemen, residents of Woodlands, are we here? This flask that we put in is the water that we pay for. Is water cheap? Is water cheap? Therefore, we should pamper ourselves, buy something that we put our water in. So ladies and gentlemen, residents, fellow Singaporeans, and everybody here, right now, if we can have a show of hands, yesterday we had 12,000 people. 12,000. Wow, you shout
12,000
until my phone also fall down. Everybody, light up your torches now. Okay, light up your torches and show. Light up your torches. Everybody, light up your torches now. Show your torches, guys. Everybody, show everybody that we're here. We don't need 12,000. We need a full strength of a full people that need to thrive, not just survive. Everybody, thrive, not survive. SDP! 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 You in the back there! SDP! 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 Supporters who have been with us for 45 years, you are the voices. You are the voices in Parliament. Somebody for SDP, make some noise! And if we're ready, thank you very much, because that is the spirit we need. That is the spirit Dr. Chi needs. That is the spirit Professor Paul needs. Because should they go to Parliament? Thank you very much.
So 3rd of May, remember, vote our 11 candidates to Parliament. And now, shall we introduce our next speaker, Mr. Daman. Mr. Daman is the candidate for Sembawang GRC.
Sembawang GRC, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise, guys. Vote all 11 of them, including Mr. James Gomez.
Fellow Singaporeans, my beloved brothers and sisters, how are you tonight? How many of you are from Marsiling and UT? Any Sembawang people? Good, good. Both of us on Saturday. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Your show of support brings hope to everyone. I am very happy to see and speak to you tonight. In a few days, we will be voting. For the last 5 years, you patiently work your jobs, bringing food to the table for your families, pay your rising bills, paying off 30 years of HDB loans for the new ones, right? Seeing crazy COE prices rise and rise. Some of you do 2-3 jobs, working 12-hour shifts with little pay increase and little rest, coping with our immediate bosses and seeing those PAP political bosses in Parliament with their fat paychecks heartlessly vote to increase the GST. But on Saturday, my friends, when you vote, you become the real boss. Your hands on Saturday decides who speaks in Parliament or sleeps and keeps quiet while cost of living rise and rise. Do you want to see MPs who voted to increase the GST paid on us again in Parliament? Do you want to see the face of the MPs who allow our jobs to be taken away easily in Parliament? Or do you want to see SDP MPs standing up and speaking up for you in Parliament? So, my friends, in the last few days, we hear the PAP say, don't play with your votes. Do they think the people is stupid? We are a nation of educated people. We have good and committed teachers in our schools. We are the envy of others in the world for getting very good education. And after 60 years, we the people can surely use our minds to think and our eyes to see. And what we see in our country, run by a bunch of rich elites, serving the interests of each other and their rich friends for far too long. So please, don't look down on us and tell us that we will play with our votes. No, we will not play with our votes.
Vote them out.
Yes.
Vote them out. Vote them out.
Thank you, thank you. We may be blue-collar workers, the Grab driver, the delivery driver, the road sweeper, the cleaner, the contract worker earning hourly wage, the one they treat as mere economic digits. But we surely are not stupid. We can think, we have feelings, and we are in pain. Right? We know how important our vote is. You only get to cast it once every 5 years. And in these 9 days, you the people are the boss conducting the job interviews for your new MPs. The table is now turned. It is even Steven again. They throw you beautiful brochures, right? You get it at your doorstep with their smiley faces and so on. Promises and promises. They give you 5 years town plans that are actually routine works of the URA and SDP, a non-partisan government agency, timed perfectly for the election. And they claim as theirs. And vouchers, right? But you, the boss, must ask them difficult questions. Those they don't like. Where were their hearts and conscience when they voted to increase the GST, knowing full well it will increase the price of everything we buy? Why they kept quiet in Parliament and allow our overpopulation, but not from our children, and make our living conditions stressful with so many people that takes good jobs away from us? Why are our public hospitals so crowded that bed queues are so long, some for 24 hours? And the most important question you must ask them, why are their salaries so high? They say paying ministers $1 billion salary prevents corruption. Does it? A mayor is paid 600,000 a year. How much they collect in 5 years? Too much. My friends, this election is very serious. You have a chance to change course for your nation. They claim only they know how to run this country. And if there are many opposition, there are problems in Parliament. They claim again and again, let them check their own self. What upside down logic is that? You, the boss, the people will decide on the 3rd of May, and you must vote for change. Vote for an SDP MP who will speak up for you, the loudest, to stop the high cost of living, reduce the BTO prices, put you first for jobs and not others.
Yeah, we're behind time.
Para pengundi semua, Sabtu ini kuasa keramat kembali ke tangan anda. Pilihan anda akan menentukan masa depan indah untuk anak-anak kita ataupun terus ditekan dengan beban hidup yang PAP letakkan di atas bau kita semua. Kita rakyat inginkan sebuah negara yang aman, damai dan sejahtera. Kita hidup bersama, hormati jiran tetangga, saling merasakan beban menyara hidup dengan penuh sabar, setia kepada Singapura, malah sedia berkorban apa saja. Kita tidak meminta bulan, namun kita damba untuk dilayani dengan adil dan saksama. Suatu harapan yang datang dari hati nurani rakyat yang telah lama menunggu dan terus menunggu. Kita di penghujung musim hari raya. Masa berkempen, kami sering bertemu orang yang sedang berkunjung dan berhari raya. Suasana meriah menjejukkan hati dan jiwa kami. Walaupun keringat beritis membasah, senyuman lebar dan suara sokongan anda didengar dan jelas dirasa. Alhamdulillah dan terima kasih. Pilihan raya ini, undi anda menentukan nasib kita berubah atau sama saja. Sudah lama kita berikan PAP masa untuk berubah sikap terhadap kita. Di mana suara mereka untuk kita? Kita berterima kasih melihat gerbang besi yang keras memacak melintas Pasar Gelang dan Jucat. Tiap kali berkunjung ke sana. Pernah lihat kan? Namun, mana Melayunya? Indah kabar dari rupa. Cukuplah. Sabtu ini, undilah untuk kembalikan maruah dan martabat kita. Undilah pembangkang. Undilah SDP. Finally, my dear voters of PMYT and Sembawang GRC, this Saturday, use the power in your hands wisely and intelligently and show to the PAP that we are offended by their words. We are smart enough to think what is good for us and for our country in this election. Vote for SDP. Thank you and good night.
Tak boleh tahan already, right? So when comes 3rd of May, you know what to do? What to do? Thank you. Vote our 11 candidates to Parliament. 5月3号，记得投我们新加坡民主党一票，把我们的11位候选人送入国会。
And while you're voting, you can also go and buy the Tak Boleh Tahan t-shirt and walk in to your polling area and vote.
Bernard, our Tak Boleh Tahan t-shirt is sold out. That's how Tak Boleh Tahan everyone is. Tak Boleh Tahan t-shirt is sold out.
That's right, sold out. Oh, sold out already.
Sold out.
It's sold out.
Thank you very much for supporting our Tak Boleh Tahan t-shirt.
Our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, you all know him. Ladies and gentlemen, advocate right here for democracy as well as human rights. Ladies and gentlemen, his name, you know, resounds all over Singapore. Dr. James Gomez.
Dr. James Gomez is also the team leader for Sembawang GRC.
This is okay. Also okay. A shout out to the Muckles, Marsiling UT, and Sembawang Muckles, Magalche. I did a special video for all the Muckles, both in Marsiling UT and Sembawang, using Rajinikanth's Nirpada song. Please check out my TikTok account, Vagama Pode, with the mala and everything. This one's special to all the Muckles here. Thank you so much. Dear Singaporeans and voters of Marsiling UT, Sembawang West, Sembawang GRC, and also further away at Bukit Panjang, the candidate for Marsiling UT, Lawrence Wong, wants us to re-elect him and his underperforming ministers, MPs, and his new inexperienced candidates. No thanks. Singaporeans are confident to elect representatives who can speak up for them on key issues that matter. Why? Not only do the failures of Lawrence Wong create long-term societal, economic, and demographic concerns, they also strike at the heart of our people's mental health. And today, my topic is on mental health because I'll be launching SDP's National Plan on Mental Health. Lawrence Wong's failure to address the real pressures is weighing heavily on the mental health of our people. And there are 5 reasons for this. 1, uncontrolled immigration. Every day, Singaporeans endure overcrowded trains, packed hospital, and shrinking public space. Whoa. This relentless overcrowding drains our quality of life and erodes our sense of belonging. 2, fierce job competition. With increased immigration and import of foreign labor, it pushes Singaporeans first entering the job market and young adults harder in an environment where wages are pushed down very, very much further. Yet, even our best graduates struggle to find secure, decent paying jobs. And their future prospects are being crushed under a system that brings in more foreign labor but delivers less for Singaporeans. 3, skyrocketing cost of living. Meanwhile, wages have stagnated and their real value diminished, while food, transport, housing prices continue to climb. For many families, just fighting to stay barely afloat is a challenge. 4, cyberbullying. 1 in 4 of our children has reported being bullied online. And it's just not children. Adults too suffer from online harassment, doxing, and other forms of digital abuse. If you are engaged in speaking for political change, you are also harassed online. And 5, the caregiving burdens placed on working adults. The risk of burnout is always constant, and many suffer losses in their own career progression, financial stability, simply because they are doing their best to support the ones they love. All these 5 issues and others are creating a deepening mental health crisis in Singapore. That is why today I've been asked by the SDP to present our policy brief, Nationalizing Mental Health Care. Given the rapid rise in mental health challenges, especially among our young, the working population, and caregivers, the core recommendation is that we need to nationalize mental health care and make it central to our national health care system. When daily lives becomes a relentless struggle, when basic needs like affordable housing, job security, and safe public spaces are no longer guaranteed, it breeds constant anxiety, deepens depression, and erodes emotional resilience. 15% of our residents aged 18 to 74 report poor mental health. You just need to look around your family and friends to detect these cases. More than 1 in 3 Singaporean workers is at high risk of developing serious mental health conditions. And alarmingly, 30% of young Singaporeans experience severe or extremely severe symptoms of depression, anxiety, or stress. Mental health has become such a national problem because there are systematic shortcomings in how we address this problem. When the bulk of mental health services, believe it or not, are all mostly in the private sector and are unaffordable for ordinary Singaporeans. If you just do a simple search, you will find there are only 22 polyclinic clinics with mental health facilities, whereas there are more than 100 private clinics for mental health, right? And the costs are different. Worse still, mental health has not been properly integrated into our national health system. That is the problem. It's not integrated. And the integration is extremely slow, leaving many Singaporeans no option but to seek costly private options they simply cannot afford, or avoid mental health care altogether. Ong Ye Kung's health ministry, and Ong Ye Kung is now on the other side doing his campaign speech for Sembawang GRC, has failed to adequately address the issue at hand, and has turned literally a blind eye to the root causes of this distress. So this is the problem. They talk about a little bit of fix here, a little bit of fix there, not on time, but they do not address the root cause. That is why Ong Ye Kung has to go. I'm sure he's listening on the other side. He has to go. Singaporeans deserve better. To address this issue head on, let me elaborate on SDP's National Mental Health Plan. We call it Nationalizing Mental Health Care. This plan serves as a supplementary document to the already existing SDP's National Healthcare Plan titled Caring for All Singaporeans. The plan incorporates feedback and observation gathered by the SDP policy unit. We had direct engagement with residents who revealed the pressing need for comprehensive mental health reforms. The key thing is to bring mental health care centrally as a critical component of Singapore's national health care system. But how can we talk about mental health when the government is pushing policies that increasing stress at every level of society? Once again, unfettered immigration, job competition, cost of living, cyberbullying, and caregiving are pressures that the SDP has identified as fueling this mental health epidemic. Yet, while the stresses grow heavier, Ong Ye Kung tells us the situation should be dealt preventively. What he fails to see is that the problem is already upon us and it has to be dealt with curatively. Otherwise, how do you deal with a problem that is leading to high suicide tendency? Meanwhile, mental health funding remains paltry. Singaporeans can only draw 500 to 700 a year from MediSave, when monthly costs alone can reach 380. And our system is overstretched, underfunded. There are only 4.3 psychiatrists and 21.86 mental health nurses for every 100,000 people, well below a developed nation's average. So this is where Singapore is. It's developed, but it's still very, very much behind. Only 22 out of 26 polyclinics provide mental health services, while private psychiatric clinics, mostly located in Singapore downtown, and private counseling services are expensive and, once again, as I mentioned earlier, above the reach of ordinary people. The Singapore Democratic Party believes the mental health is not just about treating the symptoms, it's also about addressing the root causes, which means undertaking structural reform. The SDP suite of policy papers lay the ground for addressing the root causes. It places limits on immigration and increases support for public infrastructure to catch up with growing user demands. Amidst competition from abroad, we recommend installing a talent track scheme for businesses to provide opportunity for Singaporean workers first. Cost of living controls, lower the GST, including removing GST on essential items and removing land costs from HDB prices. Support systems and public awareness campaigns to combat cyberbullying, including trolling of those advocating for political change. Undertake health reforms that make healthcare universal, streamlined, and affordable, where mental health care is made an essential part of public health care. But beyond structural reforms, SDP also recognizes the urgent need for targeted measures to attend to mental health challenges. And here I'm coming to the end of my speech. These proposals will lead to a national reprioritization, bringing mental health care once again as a key component of national health care. One, we will launch sustained nationwide mental health education campaigns to break the stigma and promote early help seeking. Two, we will build community-based wellness center with a focus on our youth and young adults, accessible hubs for care, counseling, and crisis support. Three, to tackle the growing problem of workplace stress, the SDP will advocate for formal mental health leave and flexible working arrangement. Four, we will expand financial support schemes to ease the burden and support of caregivers. Fifth and finally, the SDP will fight to create and expand more parks, green spaces, and giving every Singaporean an accessible space to rest, recharge, and find peace among the stresses of city life. The SDP's National Mental Health Plan is a long-term vision to build a healthy and more resilient Singapore. Let's be clear. Singapore's mental health crisis is not a product of fate. It is the result of years of negligence, bad policies, and the absence of effective action by the PAP government. Lawrence Wong, and especially Ong Ye Kung, when holding the Health Ministry portfolio, asking for re-election, but sidestepped the root cause of this mental health crisis confronting Singapore. SDP offers something different. We are committed to building a Singapore where mental health is a national priority, where mental health services are also accessible at the constituency level, where the pressures of life don't drive us to the edge, where every individual has the support they need to thrive and not the root causes which should be settled. The SDP is ready to lead the way. I ask you, vote for the SDP, vote for SDP MPs. Actually, and this is my last sentence really, actually what we are looking for is a strong mandate, a clear signal from you, so we do not have to re-elect underperforming prime ministers, ministers, MPs, and their entourage of inexperienced candidates. So thank you very much and good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man in the flesh, Dr. James Gomez, everybody.
3rd of May, vote for SDP, vote our 11 candidates to Parliament.
Next person, ladies and gentlemen, right here. You've heard him all over in Singapore. Ladies and gentlemen, right here, the person behind Achimale, have no fear. Everybody, you ready? Arifin!
Arifin is a candidate for Marsiling UT.
Higher a bit. That's okay. Yeah. Good evening, Woodlands! I hear a lot of chants of Achamile. We will do that at the end. We'll do that at the end. Yeah. I will remember. I'll remember. You know, it's very good to see so many young people here tonight. Young people, give yourselves a round of applause. You know, it's very easy to say that young people are the future and all these cliches that we hear. But we at the SDP believe that the young people can be leaders right here, right now.
The only thing I will ask is that next time drag more friends along. You know, sometimes these days, when you look around Singapore, don't you guys feel that sometimes there are two different Singapores in this island? Not the blue and the red. One for the, sorry? White? Today is a dark. Basically, there is a Singapore for the elites, the ultra-rich, and there's a Singapore for the rest of us. One Singapore is a playground for the elite, one Singapore for the rest of us, everyday working Singaporeans. You know, yesterday, our Prime Minister Lawrence Wong, he gave a speech about wealth tax. Was it yesterday or the day before? He was talking about how if wealth tax is introduced in Singapore, people living in condominiums and landed properties will have to pay more taxes. He was saying this in a rally, right? And then after he said it, he heard nothing. Exactly, no reaction. You know why? Because 85% of Singaporeans live in HDBs. No, what? Okay, guys, I need to finish my speech. You know, this pin drop silence is symbolic of how out of touch our leadership is. Honestly, do you think majority of Singaporeans care if the 1% is taxed a bit more? Honestly, if you are in the top 1%, you should pay your fair share of taxes. In fact, most people I speak to who have made it in life say that actually, you know, if I'm in this position, it is my duty to give back to society. And that's all what we are asking for. So the tax on wealth will not hurt very much. But the key question is, what do we do with the taxes from the wealth? How do we distribute it in a manner that is equitable and doesn't just rely on trickle-down economics? That's the real question. This morning, you know why all of you come for a SDP rally? Is because you guys want to hear about the politics of hope. Am I right? Ladies and gentlemen, here at the SDP, we reject the politics of fear. This morning, this lunchtime, Lawrence Wong held the PAP held another rally at the UOB Plaza. Again, they started talking about the politics of fear. PM Wong started saying that, look, if you vote for the opposition, we might lose a few good ministers, like DPN Gan Kim Yong. You know, what Singaporeans don't realize is that the backbone of Singapore is our rank and file civil servants, not our ministers. It is the civil servants that keep Singapore running even when Parliament is dissolved. I got a long way to go, guys. Yeah. And if you remember in 2011, Brigadier General George Yeo, he lost in an election. We moved on. Singapore moved on. Right? And to be fair to him, he also respected the decision of voters. I didn't see him being parachuted in anywhere. And he didn't go to NTUC. In 2020 in Sengkang, the PAP lost a cabinet minister, Ng Chee Meng. Lost a few other office holders as well. But Sengkang is running fine. Am I right? Singapore is running fine. Ladies and gentlemen, Singapore will be okay. The people will be okay. We are bigger than our ministers. So please, please, do not hold Singaporeans hostage. Don't give in to the politics of fear, but vote without fear. My fellow Singaporeans, honestly, we Singaporeans, we don't care about humble backgrounds, baby faces, or sob stories. Do we? We, the taxpayers, we are paying MPs, $15,000 of our own taxpayers' money as their salary every month. Part-time, exactly. You know. NSF, don't even get me started on mayors. My friends, NSFs, their pay is very low. If they try to work another job, what do they call it? Moonlight. Our MPs work three jobs in the daylight. My fellow Singaporeans, a very simple question. If I offer you $16,000 a month, will you be a full-time MP? Then why do we have double standards for our current MPs? Maybe got bonus, yeah. Basically, my point is this. When you go to the ballot box, look at the person in front of you. Can this person serve Singapore? Does this person have a good heart? And will he dedicate his full time to the constituency? Because let me tell you, the SDP MPs will all be full-time MPs. These days, our leaders, anyway, the interesting thing about this is, remember I was telling you earlier about Lawrence Wong's rally where he talked about wealth tax and then there was 7 seconds of silence, right? This happened in a PAP rally, which means that honestly, regardless of which political party you support, which rally you go to, it shows that how out of touch our leaders actually are. But when it comes to time of crisis, they tell you, don't worry, we are in this together. They say that we are on the same boat. My friends, we are on a sampan and they are on a mega yacht. Think about this, yeah? An average political party rally like this, right, lasts for about 3 hours. An average political party rally lasts for 3 hours. In that same 3 hours, our Prime Minister earns, assuming they are working hours, the same 3 hours, the Prime Minister earns a few $1,000s. Not in a day, not in a week, in a few working hours. I know many Singaporeans who struggle to earn a few $1,000s in a week or even a month. And this is the same party that when we say we need better welfare for the people, better healthcare, they will ask us, oh, how are you going to fund it? Where is the money coming from? Two things, right? The first thing is, do you ask yourself this question when your salaries are raised? Your own salaries. We don't hear that. And number two, and this is very important, if you look at the SDP's website, you will see very detailed manifestos, very detailed policy papers from education to housing to the economy. And what you will notice is we don't just talk about what we propose. We also talk about how we will pay for it, how we will fund it, and how it is actually sustainable. So don't ever let anyone tell you that the opposition only give ideas and don't tell you how to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, the money is there. The only question is, how do we want to redistribute it to society so that all of us can start thriving and not just surviving? We need to relook, because every time we raise this, they talk about, oh, you're raiding the reserves. But you don't ever hear that being talked about when they come up with new policies. So the question is, let's have an open debate, a fair policy debate, based on facts, based on figures, and let's again reject the politics of fear. My fellow Singaporeans, do we want a system that only works for the top 1%? Do you want to struggle every day with no end in sight? Do you want to continue living like this for a long, long time? There comes a point in time where we pause, where we say, look, we have gone with this party for so long. Let's look at the other side now. Enough is enough. Cukup. We must take our lives into our own hands. We cannot continue like this anymore. Listen, in a few minutes, you will be able to listen to the conviction and the dedication in the voices of Dr. Paul Tambaya, and Dr. Chee Soon Juan. They are brilliant men, but more importantly, they are two good men who love Singapore. Ladies and gentlemen, the last part of my speech, I want to talk about the three qualities of the SDP MP. First, we have to understand that the MP has three main roles. Many people think the MP's job is just erecting sheltered walkways, usually just before elections. But the first job of an MP is to take care of an estate. But this is the bare minimum, my friends. This is the bare minimum. Every month you pay SNCC fees, you are already paying for this service, right? An estate manager will take care of municipal issues. Yesterday, my colleague, Dr. James Gomez, released the SDP's Town Council Plan. You can read up more about that. But basically, what we can promise you is this. Number one, your SDP MP will be a full-time MP. Number two, we will not appoint managing agents. We will take care of the estate ourselves, and we will bring in ideas from the community. You know, the other day I saw this poster at Block 614 Chua Chu Kang at the Void Deck. I think it's brilliant, okay? I believe it was a resident who put up a poster to say that, and it was addressed to both candidates. Okay, so this poster was saying to PAP candidates, to SDP candidates, these are the concerns of the people in this block, okay? They talk about how Block 601 to 616 is not exactly well connected to the bus stops and the MRTs, and they say, please help us, and these are some things that can help us. I honestly think this is brilliant. And this is a good sign of active citizenry that the SDP wants to encourage. Because, my friends, the MPs, the ministers, they may not even live in the same constituency as you. They may not know the daily struggles you face. So if the SDP gets elected, our town council will be your town council as well. And I want to be clear, just to clear the air again, tonight is all about dissipating the politics of fear. Thanks to the relentless advocacy of the Workers' Party, these days, you still can get CIPC grants quite okay. So it's not like those days where in Hougang and Potong Pasir where your constituency may be left behind. These days, it's quite an even playing field. You can ask your friends in Sengkang, ask your friends in Aljunied. So basically, my point is this. You will not be shortchanging yourself in any way by voting for a SDP MP in terms of your estate. Rest assured. The other thing is this, okay? You know, how many of you have received these very glossy, beautiful town plans in your house? You know, Marsiling UT town plan, throw away it. No, read. Okay, what I suggest is, if you go through the list of things on the list, right, you will realize that many of these things are not PAP initiatives, but government initiatives. So your MRTs will still be there. Your CCs will still be built, right? So don't be misled into thinking that if you vote for opposition, all these things you won't get. Trust me, you will get all those things and a lot more. The second characteristic of an SDP MP is someone who is tireless in advocacy. Of course, the SDP MPs will hold MPS. That's a given. Meet the People session. But in addition to MPS, or rather, before I move there, in terms of MPS, right, what we want to do is we want to restore dignity to MPS. We don't want people to, queue up and then ask and stuff like that. What we want to do is we try to streamline it. For those people who can, we can email, we can WhatsApp, we can make things more efficient, right, for all of us. And usually MPS, people like to go there to seek help. In addition to MPS, what we will also have is town halls. My fellow Singaporeans, bread and butter issues are important, but sometimes we need an outlet to air our views. We might want to talk about the budget. We might want to talk about what the government is doing with the Simply Go. We might want to talk about ERP 2.0. We might want to talk about things that are happening in other countries, and all these are valid things as a resident. And you should be able to go to your MP and talk to him about it. And if you have an idea for your estate, say, hey, I think this one we can convert into this and whatnot, we will have town halls. Have you ever had a town hall with your current PAP MP? Thirdly, finally, and more crucially, the SDP will be your fearless voice in Parliament. My friends, my fellow Singaporeans, especially younger ones, right? What I strongly suggest you to do, there's a very good website, Instagram page called CAPE, cape.sg, okay? CAPE, cape.sg. They have a very nice Parliament tracker. I would suggest, really, go to their website, go and check out how many times your current MP has spoken up in Parliament. How many times has he attended Parliament? How many questions has he asked? The types of questions that he asked, because let me tell you, if the SDP goes into Parliament, we will break all the records. We, the SDP, will speak without fear, without favor. Our only loyalty is to Singaporeans. We will make sure that we ask the government tough questions. We will hold them accountable. No fear. We will leave no stone unturned. Jangan takut. So remember, when you are voting for the SDP, you're voting for someone who is tireless on the ground, relentless in advocacy, and fearless in Parliament. My fellow Singaporeans, do you want an MP? Do you want an MP who takes good care of your estate? Yes, but remember that's the bare minimum. Now, do you want an MP who is fearless in Parliament and asks tough questions? Are you sick and tired of template email replies? Do you want an MP who actually voices out for your concerns, for your needs in Singapore? Then, my brothers and sisters, it is time to vote for the SDP. My fellow Singaporeans, what we need right now is to come together to build a community. What we are taking is not a leap of faith. A leap of faith is when you don't know what's happening. Today, hand in hand, we're going to take a step forward to a better, a brighter Singapore together. And together, we will make Woodlands roar again. And together, those of you who are at Choa Chu Kang Stadium, you know how this goes. I will say Achamile, you all repeat after me, okay? Achamile! Louder, one more time. Achamile! Achamile! And I think the cameras, you want to see the crowd this time? Achamile! Thank you!
Ladies and gentlemen, Arifin, everybody!
Thank you, Arifin. You know what Arifin said is very true. The parliament is being dissolved, but Singapore still go on, all thanks to our civil servants. And the civil servants among us, let's give them a round of applause, especially our police. And remember, even your civil servant can vote for other party rather than PAP, okay? Because your vote is secret.
That's right, your vote is secret, everybody. And just to let you know, even I'm just emceeing the event right here, I know a person who cannot sit. Ladies and gentlemen, to the people for the first aid, can we please give a round of applause because they brought the chair to the lovely lady here who was clinging on.
Because in SDP, we care. Now, shall we introduce our next speaker?
Our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, let Woodlands hear them roar, Woodlands! Jufri Salim!
The team leader for Marsiling UT, Mr. Jufri Salim.
Higher. This is okay. This is okay. Okay, can. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to our rallies. Please give yourself a round of applause. So beautiful. Allow me to make a quick introduction to my team. We have Jijin Wong, who is hardworking in her quest to ensure that no stones are left unturned. Next, we have Alec Tok, someone who is always ready to give a listening ear and understand you. And as you have witnessed just now, the youngest in the team, Arifin Shah. Can we hear that one more time? His passion to serve the best for the people speaks for itself. And my name is Jufri Salim, and we are your SDP candidates for Marsiling UT GRC. I am deeply rooted in the values of service, integrity, and sincerity. Our constituency, rich in spirit and diversity, deserves a leadership that listens, understands, and acts in your best interest. And I'm here not to give empty promises, not to sugarcoat policies, but to speak straight from the heart, to speak honestly. As a fellow Singaporean and as someone who believes in a better future for all of us. As a Singaporean who knows that life has become harder for many of us. And tonight, we are here to speak up for you, to fight for you. Let's talk about our town, our home, Marsiling UT GRC. How many of you is from this constituency? Now, in recent years, months, and the past days, I've walked through our estates, visited some of you at your doorsteps, sat with residents at hawker centers, coffee shops. We had long chats over kopi o. You know what residents have told me? Jeffrey, how come we have walkways that go nowhere? Barbecue pits nobody uses. Why spend money like that when we have real needs not being met? And you know what? I have to agree with the residents. This is not good planning. This is wasting your money. I say, no more top-down planning. No more wasting your hard-earned tax monies. At SDP, we propose a full review of municipal spending. You deserve walkways that serve, parks that work, spaces that reflect your real needs. Something Thank you. And not something suggested to you from a top-down committee. As your MPs, we will hold regular town halls, open dialogues, and will always be available to you. Not just during this election time, and not just the Meet the People sessions. Because true leadership means being present, listen, understand, act. Let the people decide what we need, not consultants behind the desks. And then there's the MRT. The MRT lines that were mentioned in the PAP's Marsiling UT town plan. Some of you asked me, hey bro, if SDP wins, MRT kena cancel or not? Well, let me say it loud and clear. These are national projects managed by our capable civil service, not political pawns. They are not your political toys either. The Cross Island line, the Jurong Region line, the Downtown line, these have been in the pipeline for years. The civil servants at URA and LTA, they plan 10 to 15 years ahead. Whether it's PAP, SDP, or anybody else, the MRT lines are coming. But what we can promise is that SDP will make sure they are done right, with good access and with residents in mind. And yes, I've also pushed for expanded sheltered prayer spaces at An-Nur Mosque in Marsiling. Because our Muslim brothers and sisters need safe, accessible space, especially during peak times like Hari Raya and Friday prayers. This is not just a request. It is a basic matter of dignity, safety, and inclusion. Now let's talk about what is hurting every household. The rising cost of living. Raise your hands if you feel everything getting more expensive. Housing, healthcare, groceries. Yeah, right. Even prata kosong and kopi o went up. Your kopi, your groceries are getting more expensive. Utility bills are going up. And yet, they still raise the GST. At SDP, we say, no more GST on essential items. No more for food, medicine, and public transport, because these are not luxuries. We'll shift the burden from the everyday Singaporean to the ultra-rich. I also had young couples telling me that they are worried about starting a family. Seniors tell me their savings tak boleh tahan already. This is not okay. We need to tackle the cost of living now. And I also understand between MediSave, MediShield Life, CareShield, it's a system that confuses more than it helps. That's why SDP proposes a universal healthcare system, simple, transparent, and fair. So you'll get treated based on your condition and needs. Another big issue that definitely needs to be addressed, and it has 3 letters in it, CPF. Recently, I met a 70-year-old who said, I've worked for decades, but I cannot see or use my own money. Isn't it true? And that's why at SDP we say, that's your CPF, your retirement, your right. We want more flexible withdrawal options and fairer returns. Seniors, our senior citizens, should live with dignity, not to be made to collect cardboards, sell tissue paper, and beg on the streets. And you know what's been added into the fray? Foreign PMETs taking our jobs. While Singaporeans get passed over, people are asking, where's the fairness? We are not here to point fingers. We welcome foreigners. But we are here to make policies that put Singaporeans first. That's why we have the SDP's manifesto, the THRIVE acronym. Let me break it down to you real quick. T, taxes that are fair. Reduce GST, zero GST on essentials, and ensure the ultra-rich contribute fairly. H, healthcare that is universal. One simple national system. Scrap the confusing patchwork of MediSave, MediShield Life, and CareShield. R, respect for the planet and people. Protect our green spaces. Uphold freedom of expression. Ensure clean air and strong civic society. I, immigration that is rational. A balanced approach to population growth. Opportunities for those who want to contribute without crowding out the locals. V, verse that works. We were promised verse of voluntary early redevelopment scheme in 2018. Still, nothing. Our solution ensures aging flat retains value and young families can own homes affordably. And last but not least, E, education for thriving, not just surviving. Focus on joyful learning, not just test taking. Let children explore and grow. And while we're at it, let's support the educators, the teachers. Let's create a Marsiling UT where every resident is valued, heard, and empowered. Where we all will thrive and not just survive. Where community means something again. This election is not just about a name or a party. It's about you, and me. It's about us. Before I go, let me ask you, do you want affordable homes? Vote SDP. Do you want affordable healthcare? Vote SDP. Do you want to lower the cost of living? Vote SDP. Do you want job security? Vote SDP. Do you want an MP who listens? Vote SDP. Do you want them to work harder, double, triple hard for you? Vote SDP. Let us build a Marsiling UT we are proud to call home. We can do this together. Vote for your future. Vote for the voice you deserve. Vote for the heart. Vote for SDP. Majulah Singapura. Majulah SDP. Thank you.
Jufri Salim, ladies and gentlemen. Marsiling UT, let us roar!
Come 3rd of May, remember, cast your vote to SDP. 5月3号，请投我们新加坡民主党一票，把我们的11位候选人送入国会。And now, without further ado, let us introduce the man you're waiting for. The very deserving man to be in Parliament. Bukit Panjang resident. Let me hear you roar. Dr. Paul Tambaya.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Actually, a little bit higher. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. It's different height. This one a little bit higher. Okay. Yeah. Okay, dear residents of Marsiling UT, thank you so much for coming out this evening. We are now at the halfway mark of this campaign, and I must say it's been a great experience interacting with the voters, learning from my colleagues, having a rare opportunity to discuss politics frankly with my fellow Singaporeans. Don't believe anyone who tells you that Singaporeans are apolitical. Almost everyone I've met in the last 5 days has some opinion or other about some specific issues, mostly about the cost of living. We've had very good insights from members of the public who have written in or stopped to talk to us at rallies or on our house visits. On the other hand, we've had some very strange views put forward by the PAP leaders. Firstly, former Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong reportedly said, this is reported in today's Straits Times, you lose a minister, okay, I make do. I think he said okay, not OYK. I lose 2 ministers, harder to make do. I lose 3 ministers, I'm in some trouble. Now this should be very troubling to Singaporeans who are thinking of voting for a PAP MP. It suggests the vast majority of them are either not trusted or not talented enough to make ministers. Now, I can tell you with confidence that although the SDP Marsiling UT team is a relatively politically young team, with the exception of Jufri Salim, who you just heard, who's a political veteran, they may need some guidance from SDP seniors, but I am confident that within 1 or 2 election cycles, they will be ready to be ministers. And they can bring some very interesting perspectives, certainly to the Ministry of Culture, Community and Youth, given they're such a talented team. Now, Mr. Lee also called for Singaporeans to reject racial and religious identity politics. But it was not the SDP who came up with the CMIO classification. No opposition party ever called for racially based self-help groups. And the Ministry of Muslim Affairs was not set up by anyone other than the PAP. While the main purpose of the ministry is to administer the affairs of MUIS, which was previously housed within MCD, there is no question it is a government body. And if the government wants to take on the leadership within the Malay Muslim community, it is only right that the people hold them accountable. Now, recent events have made Singaporeans question the ability of the Singapore government to be fair in handling sensitive matters affecting the community. So it's natural for the community to feel upset if they think their appointed leaders are not doing their job. They do not need foreigners to tell them when they see with their very eyes. In fact, the accusation that any questioning of the competence of government-appointed leaders by the community is a sign of disloyalty to Singapore is divisive and unfair. As we've seen time and again, the PAP leaders, like the rest of us, are not perfect. If they cannot handle the concerns of the Malay Muslim community, or any community for that matter, they need to admit it and listen to the people, not turn around and blame the people for questioning them. Now, Mr. Ong Yi Kang also revealed that he doesn't quite understand the principles of universal single-payer healthcare system. He asked, which part will we get rid of? The subsidies or MediShield Life? The answer is actually in our healthcare plan. But if the minister did not read it, don't worry. I can provide you with the TLDR version. In fact, if you go to Wikipedia, which many of my students do, he will find this very helpful definition. A single-payer healthcare system establishes a single risk pool consisting of the entire population. It also establishes a single set of rules for services, reimbursement rates, drug prices, and minimum standards for these services. Basically, you don't need the subsidies if we have a truly universal single-payer system. This will mean a huge savings, as Mr. Ong himself pointed out, that government spending on healthcare has gone from $9 billion to $23 billion under his watch. But even with all that spending, according to Credit Counselling Singapore, medical expenses are now number 4 on the list of commonly cited causes for bankruptcy in Singapore. And that is terrible. No one should have to go bankrupt because of your medical expenses. The Singapore government already uses insurance companies such as Singlife, Great Eastern, Income to handle the insurance components of ElderShield Life. It also has the infrastructure in place for MediShield Life. It has systems such as Trust Blue, Trust Orange, Pioneer Generation, Merdeka Generation. Under the SDP system, all of these would be merged to cut the wasteful duplication. Every citizen would have a national health insurance card and would pay a fixed premium out of their CPF. The quantum would be comparable to what you pay right now for MediSave, and maybe even less. For the low income or those without income, there would be government support. There would be co-payments, but these will be capped. It's a bit like car insurance. You know, we all have to have car insurance if you drive a car, right? And there's a deductible. And that gives us the confidence, if you get into an accident through no fault of your own, you're not going to go bankrupt trying to fix your car or go and get a replacement car. But nobody in their right mind thinks, oh, I've got a government car insurance, so I purposely go and crash my car just so that I can enjoy the benefits. That's crazy, right? I think most of us care a bit more for our bodies than for our vehicles. So Mr. Ong can rest assured, the risk of abuse is very low. Furthermore, the fact there's a single payer means there's control over reimbursements for the various services, similar to the MediShield Life limits, but they are applied to all claimable services, which means all medical care excluding cosmetic care. For more information, read our healthcare paper. Many of the original elements have already been adapted and adopted by the PAP, although they claim they thought about it before, but they kept quiet until after we published our policy. Mr. Ong also mentioned the SDP's non-open market scheme for HDB flats. He claims that flats sold back to the HDB currently are only from HDB defaulters, and this should not be the mainstream. That may be his opinion, but many Singaporeans, especially those my age, remember the era from the mid-1960s to the mid-1980s when it was possible to buy a flat for way below 100,000. Those flats could only sold back to the government, and foreigners who held PR could not buy HDB flats. HDB flats were truly built to give Singaporeans a roof over their heads, rather than fuel a speculative bubble. And so this is a good time to bring up the 5th chapter of our manifesto, the V, which stands for Verse That Works. We have indeed proposed a non-open market scheme by which the vast majority of Singaporeans, that's you and I, who have only one property, you can only sell it back to the HDB if you choose to get a bigger place or smaller place, depending on what's happening with your family. We also propose that the cost of HDB flats be based entirely on construction costs, without the land costs. I mean, this is simple logic. Owners of HDB flats do not have strata title, unlike owners of of private 99-year condos. Owners of condos typically try to sell their flats en bloc when the lease is starting to age, so that a developer can apply for a new lease on the land. HDB owners, you can't do that. You cannot just get together with others in your block and decide to en-bloc your flat. So they put in the SIR scheme, and I know some of you have benefited from it, those in Marsiling near the new CIQ in the Woodlands side. And it was very popular. because you can get a new flat with a comparable location and often the same size plus a new lease. But you know, the Ang Mo Kio sirs, it didn't work out so well because they ended up having to get smaller flats or flats which were further away. Many of our flats were built in the 1960s and 70s, and they are fast approaching 79 years old. Why 79? Now, 79 is the magic number because you cannot use your CPF to buy a property that has only got 20 years left on the lease. So the government is aware of this, and they proposed this VERS scheme in 2018. 7 years have passed, and we have not heard any details at all about the scheme. Many of us, like me, are close to retirement age, and it's really important for us to know whether or not our flats are going to be totally brought down to zero value in a few years' time, or whether there's some way out for us. So this election is a crucial one, because it is possible that the PAP will interpret anything more than 61% of the vote as a strong mandate, and may not see the need to listen to the public when it comes to the details of the VERS scheme. So the eventual details of the scheme, which will be announced in the next 5 years, may be quite unfavorable for us unless we have strong opposition representation in Parliament, especially from the SDP, to hold the government accountable. Okay, enough about old people and our aging flats. Many young people have come up to me to ask about the ridiculous cost of new HDB flats. And they are completely right. When I tell my junior doctors that a few months after ORD, with a salary of $2,600 as a junior MO, my wife was working as a senior tutor in the university, earning a little bit more, we managed to buy a 1,600 square foot apartment freehold in District 10 for $460,000. They look at me as though I came from another planet. Now $460,000, you can't even buy a BTO flat. So they earn about twice as much as I earned then, but the same apartment now costs 10 times as much. So by simple arithmetic, there's now no way that a junior MO can live the same lifestyle I did as a junior MO. And the vast majority of you are not MOs. So you are probably in the same boat as me or worse, unless you are lucky enough to have a job in banking or finance. So the question is, why has the cost of housing shot up so much higher than the wages in Singapore? And there are many answers. One of the prime answers is the massive influx of population, which has driven up demand, the incessantly rising land prices from the Singapore government, which seems to be intent on squeezing young people for as much as they can get out of them. The results we've seen has far-reaching implications. There's such a low birth rate that even Elon Musk thinks that we're going to go extinct. Not only are the flats more expensive, they are smaller. 30 years ago, the HDB stopped building executive maisonettes and executive apartments. These were quite popular because they were large, up to 1,600 square feet in size, or, in other words, 0.0064 of a ride-out. If we use the total area of 26 Ride-Out Road as our benchmark for size. The largest HDB flats which are being built right now are the multi-generational HDB flats, which are about 1,240 square feet or 0.0049 of a ride-out. So the government has argued that the average household size is smaller than before, and famously Minister Teo said you only need a small space to increase our population. Thus, they claim that the overall space per person has kind of remained the same over the last 30 years since they stopped building the maisonettes and executive apartments. That, my friend, is the problem we are trying to fix, and why we need the SDB's policies to be debated in Parliament. We do not want to stand still. We don't want to take the risk of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting better results. We want to thrive, not just survive. Vote for change. Vote for your future. Your vote is secret. Vote for the SDP on the 3rd of May. Thank you.
Vote for Dr. Paul Tambaya into Parliament, everybody!
5月3号，5月3号，居民们 请投我们新加坡民主党一票，把我们的11位候选人送入国会。Without much further ado,
Ladies and gentlemen, right here, we'd like to invite the man as well, right here, been with you for 30 years, ladies and gentlemen. Leader of the SDP, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready to hear from him?
the man that is the most deserving man in Singapore to be in Parliament. Do you agree with me?
On bended knees and back and even stronger again. Let's give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Sembawang West SMC candidate, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Chee Soon Juan.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. This is day 4, or is it day 5? Day 5 of the campaigning. And by now, all of us all punctured already. But every time we come here, I see all your faces, the expectant faces. We all get juiced up again. So thank you. Thank you for coming down. It's really fantastic to see all of you here. Now, Leader of the House, Ms. Indrani Raja, she said in Parliament a couple of years ago that MPs should be treated with dignity and respect. I agree. She also said, and I quote, politicians do become targets. And when they become targets, it makes it very difficult for them to carry out their duties. It takes a toll on them. Now let me put the question back to Ms. Indrani. Do PAP politicians, with your policies, treat Singaporeans with dignity and respect? Do your policies not take a toll on the people? Now she says that MPs should be treated with respect. But then you raise the cost of living. You make our lives so stressful. And you say that our criticisms are taking a toll on your MPs. Can she be any more tone deaf? Now she can make such statements only because she and her fellow millionaire ministers live in another universe. One that none of us in the real world of HDB estates recognize. There is a very serious side to all of this, my friends. Now, these ministers continue to make policy to benefit the super rich at our expense. You think I'm exaggerating? Now consider this. In just the last few years, several billionaire foreigners who were given citizenship bought enormous properties in Singapore. I'll list them out. Are you ready? Now, James Dyson bought 2 ultra-luxurious houses in Singapore. You know James Dyson is the one that when your vacuum cleaner, you use Dyson. He's the one that invented Dyson cleaners. Now, he bought 2 houses in Singapore, one of them a good class bungalow for $50 million, overlooking the botanical gardens. Eduardo Severin, co-founder of Facebook, bought a bungalow for, wait for it, $230 million. Google co-founder Sergey Brin did the same. Ditto, financier investor Ray Dalio. Grab founder Anthony Tan from Malaysia bought a good class bungalow in Bintong Park. So did Hai Di Lao founder number 1 Shi Yong Hong Hai Di Lao founder number 2, Zhang Yong, did the same. Zhang Yong's son, in his 30s, also bought one. Miss Wang Qianqian, there's very little information about her except that she hails from China. She also bought one. Her brother, Wang Tianlong, also bought one for nearly $40 million. Both sister and brother are thought to be only in their early 30s. In 2022, a PR from China bought the entire condominium, lock, stock and barrel, of the 20 ultra-luxurious units at Eden Estate for nearly $300 million. In case you're wondering, that's about $15 million per unit. That same year, another Chinese PR bought units at another opulent condominium. It's called Canning Hill Piers for over $85 million. Yet another PR, also from mainland China, purchased an entire floor of Suntec City, Tower 2, for nearly $40 million. And it was recently reported that the wife of China's Alibaba's Jack Ma bought 3 shop houses on Duxton Road for about $15 million. When billionaires come in by the hundreds and snap up expensive properties in Singapore, they raise land prices. And when land prices go up, they drive up property prices and the cost of living for us, the common people. Even former PAP MPs, like Mr. Inderjit Singh, is raising the alarm. He said, and I quote, Singaporeans will be priced out of the private property market as we continue to see a flood of foreign funds flow into Singapore, unquote. Our ministers are also among these super wealthy elite. Many of them also live in good class bungalows. Ministers Vivian Balakrishnan, K. Shanmugam ran huge GCBs at Rideout Road. Dr. Tan Si Leng also lives in a good class bungalow. By the way, I can't stand the stupid name good class bungalow. It's such a classless, tasteless, snobbish name. As opposed to what? Lousy class HDB? Recently, it was reported that former Minister Mao Bao-tan sold his good class bungalow for a cool $50 million. And get this, he sold it to Ms. Wang Qianqian, whom I mentioned earlier. Mr. Shanmugam sold his good class bungalow for $88 million. He bought the house for $8 million. And who did he sell it to? He would not say, despite the SDP asking him repeatedly. My friends, we have a problem on our hands. It's called wealth inequality. While these good class bungalows and other landed properties are freehold, most of us live in flats that are leasehold. I don't have to tell you that while these super wealthy people get to pass on their wealth to their children, we have to surrender our flats back to the government at the end of the 99-year lease. This will cause the wealth inequality to expand and ultimately to the fracturing of our society. The PAP keeps stoking the specter of race and religion that will split our society. No. It is the widening inequality between the rich and the rest of us that will tear our society apart. Again, don't take my word for it. Establishment figures are cautioning against such foolishness. MAS, Managing Director, Ravi Menon. He said, and I quote, "Income from property grows much faster than income from work, and this adds to wealth inequality. This is a development that we should be deeply concerned about." End quote. We work and slog all our lives, play by the rules, pay our taxes, but end up with tiny 99-year HDB flats, while foreign billionaires and ministers live in opulence and get to see their properties increase in price and then get to pass them on to their children. Does Ms. Indrani Raja still think that we shouldn't feel disrespected and robbed of our dignity? And we are constantly reminded that our country is small and that we face land constraints. Then why is the government not protecting our land and keeping it for our own people? Why is it actively courting wealthy foreigners to come here and then allowing them to buy up expensive property? Why do ministers like Shanmugam get to live in a house that is the size of 3 football fields? Turn around. Just look at what's the space that you have around. His property is 3 times of the football field that you're standing on right now. Just to put it into perspective, the average size of an HDB flat that you and I live in is about 100 square meters. Mr. Shanmugam's house at 26 Rideout Road is 23,000 square meters. I'm going to sing you a song. Have you ever wondered why must we serve? Because we love our land, we want it to be free, to be free. Guys, you remember this song when we sang during our BMT? We gave 2 years of our lives for this land of ours, and 20 more when we do our reservist duties. My son is now doing his national service. If an armed conflict breaks out, he will be called to pick up his rifle to defend this country. If that happens, I'll fight alongside him. But the question is, what are we defending and who are we fighting for? The billionaire foreigner who owns our land? Do you think people like James Dyson, Zhang Yong or Ray Dalio love this country like we love this country? Or are they here because they get to park their wealth here and earn from the lower taxes and then get to buy the good class bungalows? Have you ever wondered why must we serve? Are we defending a whole class of privileged elite ministers who demand million-dollar salaries, who live in good class bungalows, while we continue to have to depend on vouchers and have to buy $1 eggs from them? Ministers who say they deserve respect and say that our criticisms are taking a toll on them. Have you ever wondered why must we serve? Prime Minister Lawrence Wong's salary is $180,000 a month. A month. Even junior entry-level ministers earn $100,000 a month. Even the young ministers are making $70,000 to $80,000 a month. How much are you making? In 2021, the government reported that 52,000 workers earn less than $1,300. And this amount includes their CPF and workfare payouts. Many are homeless and eat just one day a meal. Sometimes they don't eat at all. The ministers thrive, the people just survive. And the PAP argues that these workers receive assistance from supplementary and support schemes. Why do our workers have to earn such paltry salaries in the first place and then have to depend on government handouts? Shouldn't they be paid their rightful wages? Any Singaporean who works full-time must be paid a salary that will allow them to put food on the table, pay for a roof over their heads, take care of the children's education, retire in security, and be able to pay for the medical bills when they are old. In other words, they must achieve financial security and freedom. But sadly, tragically, nearly 50% of Singaporeans say that they can never achieve financial freedom. Among some of the reasons that they cite for this was insufficient income and job security. After 60 years of PAP rule, and we've come to this, I don't want to make you angry or jealous, my friends. That is not my intention. My intention is to equip you with that information, with knowledge, so that you can protect yourselves. Wealth inequality is a serious problem in Singapore, and it will get worse. If we don't elect enough opposition MPs in this election, you can be sure wealth inequality will continue to widen. Singaporeans are not dumb, nor are we irrational. We know unfairness when we see it, and we reject the inequitable way that we are treated in our own country. This unjustness must stop. The way wealth is generated and accumulated will ultimately render our society apart. 2 words sum up my message tonight: moral authority. If PAP leaders say one thing and do another, create one world for themselves and another for the people, they lose moral authority, and when you lose moral authority, you lose respect of the people. To the PAP, I say, heed my warning. Genuine, authentic, moral leadership is crucial to Singapore's continued progress. Not clever rhetoric, not vouchers, not slick TikTok ads, and certainly not hollow appeals for respect. Now, we all know that deep in our hearts, the PAP has lost its way. They have forgotten who they serve. They put profits before people, power before principle. When leaders govern for themselves instead of for the people, something precious is lost. It is our future they are selling. It is our dreams they are trading away. And look at around you. Every year, prices go up. Water, gas, electricity, GRC. And every year, they tell us to tighten our belts while their bank accounts grow fatter. This is not governance. This is exploitation. And every 4 or 5 years, our ministers suddenly like hawker food very much. And then they'll sit with us commoners and have kopi and kaya toast. And then its candidates will eerily possess the same qualifications of coming from poor backgrounds. And then their leader will even whisper sweet nothings into your ears, like, "We are here to listen to you." And after the elections, where will they be when our bills pile up? Where will they be when our jobs are under threat? Where will they be when our families struggle to get by? No, we will not be fooled again. Not this time. I have spoken out before, and I say it again now. If we don't stand up, if we don't act, the cost will be more than we can bear. The price will be more than we can pay. And it will be our children who will pay the highest price. But my friends, there is another way. The Singapore Democratic Party stands ready to fight for a Singapore where your voice matters, where your future is protected, where you don't just survive, you thrive. This is our moment. This is our fight. This is our future. Take it, my fellow Singaporeans, grab it, for it may not come again. Come with us. Stand with us. Vote for us. Vote for SDP. Thank you and good night.
SDP, SDP, Dr. Chi.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Chi.
Do you want to see Dr. Chi in Parliament? Does he deserve to be in Parliament?
Sembawang West, make some noise!
Do you know what to do on the 3rd of May? Thank you. Vote for SDP, vote for Dr. Chi, vote for Dr. Paul, and vote for all our candidates.
Vote for all the candidates. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Chi, would you like to see Dr. Chi in Parliament? All we need is 51%, and he is in.
Before we end the night, we have some announcement to make. Before you walk off, please go to our merchandise booth. That's very important. And then our rally tomorrow. We have 2 rallies.
That's right. We have 2 rallies, ladies and gentlemen. Your first rally is for lunch for UOB Plaza, 11 to 2 p.m.
That's our noontime rally at UOB Plaza right in front, very near the McDonald's.
The night rally, ladies and gentlemen, is at Beacon Primary School. Now, usually we start roughly about 7 p.m., but please go and have dinner first. We kick off at 8 p.m., okay? 8 p.m., all right?
Beacon Primary is actually the constituency for Dr. Paul, correct? Bukit Panjang SMC. So please come and support Dr. Paul tomorrow at Bukit Panjang SMC, 8 to 10 p.m.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, right here, it has been a pleasure for me and Justin to be your host and MC. Ladies and gentlemen, people of Marsiling UT, are you here? Sembawang, are you here? Sembawang West, are you here? Bukit Panjang, ladies and gentlemen, SDP, are you here? Ladies and gentlemen, we wish you a lovely good night. We see you back again tomorrow. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, to thrive and survive, it is SD.
And also, Dr. Chi will be doing his autograph for Dr. Chi books will be in front. Yes.
Okay.
The tables has already been set. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a safe trip back to wherever you are from all over Singapore. We hope to see you tomorrow, and we hope to see you for the rest of our rally. Please do us a favor, come in red. Thank you.
Yeah, come in red, ladies
Thank
and gentlemen. Even your MC here will be coming in red. And truly, my heart feels for everybody right here. So, ladies and gentlemen, before you go, okay, just walk slowly, all right? And don't bounce around with other people too much.
Sorry,
the
we
queue line
don't
has
have free
started here as
buses
well.
for you.
Yeah?
But we have our passion for you. And thank you for coming to our rally. Thank you, our volunteers. Thank you, our media team. Thank you to our men in blue. Thank you. Thank you for keeping us safe.
Most
Thank
importantly, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, supporters. We will see you tomorrow.